Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, I am absolutely pumped to dive into this one with you. We're about to go on a seriously fascinating journey, peeling back the layers of what I can only describe as a wildly unique, multi-layered digital ecosystem, the Juiced Up brand. Honestly, if you thought modern branding was just about, slapping a cool logo on a product and coming up with a catchy slogan, you are going to be absolutely blown away by what we're unpacking today. We're looking at a brand that isn't just selling a concept, they are literally building an entire reality. Right, so let's jump straight into the bizarre central mystery that we're going to be solving together. What on earth could possibly connect a glowing, high-power financial superhero to decades-old, grainy footage of a Grateful Dead parking lot? Seriously. On the surface, these two things have absolutely zero correlation. It makes no sense, right? But as you'll see, within the Juiced Up universe, this stark contrast is not an accident. In fact, it's the beating heart of their entire strategy. So let's start at the very outer layer of this whole transmedia onion. The juiced up aesthetic is this crazy, vibrant, retro-futuristic, almost cyberpunk glitch art style. It's flashy, it's high energy, and it perfectly sets the tone for a brand that just screams modern hustle and digital momentum. I mean, it is explicitly designed to grab your attention instantly when you're endlessly scrolling through a crowded feed. Which brings us to section 1. Meet Juice, the hustle master. Now, what's really fascinating here is how the brand takes these super dry corporate and financial concepts and literally turns them into a comic book archetype. Juice is framed as a literal superhero. We're talking a high-tech, multicolored suit, glowing lightning crackling all around him, standing in this gleaming, futuristic cityscape. He's not just a mascot. He is the living, breathing embodiment of extreme financial stacking and this relentless pursuit of success. But wait, Juice isn't just flying around fighting crime or whatever. He's actually rocking a very specific, kind of wild resume of professional hacks. He operates as a data analyst, a professional flipper, a financial stacker, and even a mindset coach. It's brilliant, really. The brand is taking modern gig economy hustle culture, blending it seamlessly with self-help mentalities, and personifying that whole abstract mix into one highly aspirational character. Okay, so how do we actually interact with all of this? Let's move into section 2, gamifying financial success. This is absolutely crucial. This isn't just passive media that you consume and forget about. It's a highly structured gameplay loop. They call it the digital mirror of progress. So users start out in the real world by scanning their physical juice cards. This digitizes their collection within a dedicated app, which then builds up an in-app resource called Fuel. It's an incredibly clever way to bridge the physical collector experience right into digital progression, keeping folks completely hooked on building their portfolio. And man, the payoff for this progression is just wild. As collectors gather these rare cards, Juice undergoes these insane ultimate evolutions. He transforms into this glowing Super Saiyan-style state called Juice Mode. Then there's the Hustle Lord Manifesto, where he's literally crowned and sitting on a glowing slab throne. And finally, the whole Juice Legacy Protocol thing, standing triumphantly atop a massive glowing pyramid. I mean, they're taking the concept of financial leveling up to an absolute mythological extreme. All right, so that's the visual game. But to really grasp a transmedia universe, you gotta hear it too. Let's pivot to section 3, curating the juiced up sound. Just think about the number 35 for a second. That is the sheer scale of the juiced up audio footprint on Spotify alone. 35 public playlists. They aren't just giving you like a single catchy corporate jingle. They're actively curating this massive audio ecosystem designed to completely dictate the brand's atmosphere and the listener's daily vibe. And the crazy part? The musical curation is literally all over the place. You've got these intense, high-performance anthems, like their upbeat Running Hour, which, makes total sense for a brand obsessed with hustle and fuel. But then, right alongside it, you have their jam band foundations. We're talking dedicated collections for the Grateful Dead, Bob Weir, and the Lotus Collection. It is this bizarre collision of intense go-hard energy and incredibly laid-back improvisational jam music. It's definitely not the atmosphere you'd expect from a financial superhero, and it totally deepens the mystery. Speaking of deepening the mystery, grab your investigative hats, because this is where things get genuinely weird. Section 4, a cryptic video footprint. Over on their YouTube channel at juicedUPiverse, the data instantly tells a very eerie story. The channel is packed with a massive library of 357 videos, but get this, it only has 52 subscribers. Clearly, this is not a channel designed for viral marketing or, getting massive influencer reach. It has this archival, almost purposely hidden nature to it. It really feels like an abandoned repository just waiting to be discovered. And this creates a completely mind-bending timeline. We're talking uploads from 19 years ago, historical grassroots footage like the Grateful Dead parking lot, a random college video about the Buckeyes from 18 years ago, an OAR performance in Columbus from 17 years ago, and then a massive jump across the timeline. You suddenly have hyper-recent uploads from just days ago, but the titles of those new videos? April 26, 2026, and April 29, 2026. They are literally naming videos uploaded today with dates from the future. No way, right? The whiplash in the actual content is just as staggering. You have this classic archive containing stuff like West Virginia Nightmare and literal political time capsules from 18 years ago, like Deadheads for Obama. But then, juxtaposed right up against these old raw home videos, you find modern, super cryptic shorts with incredibly ominous titles like Silt and Iron and The Architecture is Total. Because nothing screams high-power financial stacking quite like a nearly 2-decade-old video of a jam band parking lot sitting right next to something called The Architecture is Total. And honestly, the viewership data perfectly reflects how bizarre this strategy is. The contrast is stark. That old viral footage, the Grateful Dead parking lot, is sitting pretty at an impressive 194,000 views. Meanwhile, the newly uploaded, highly cryptic videos like April 29, 2026 have literally 0 views. 0. They're just sitting there, completely unpromoted by the brand, purposely hidden in plain sight. So you might be wondering, why on earth would a brand go through all this effort to engineer such a fragmented, cross-platform puzzle? Well, it all boils down to transmedia storytelling. That's the technique of telling a single narrative experience across multiple platforms and formats using current digital tech. JuicedUp isn't just selling you a product. They're giving you a massive scavenger hunt. The app, the Spotify playlists, the weird cryptic YouTube archives. Actually, think of them as puzzle pieces of one overarching world. Which brings us right back to that specific date, April 29th, 2026. The use of these exact dates, tying right into our actual real-world time frame, is just a masterstroke. It totally bridges the gap between their fictional superhero lore and our reality. It makes you feel like you've accidentally stumbled onto a countdown. Like, what is going to happen on April 29, 2026? Is it a product launch, an event, some crazy in-universe cataclysm? And that leaves us with a pretty massive thought to chew on. Tomorrow's brands are clearly not just selling products anymore. They are building realities. JuicedUp has taken gamification, music curation, and cryptic archival lore and just smashed them all together into this incredibly fascinating transmedia onion. They want us digging. They want us questioning everything. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I have to ask, are you ready for whatever JuicedUp has planned next? Thank you so much for exploring this wild universe with me today, and hey, keep your eyes on the calendar.